Hi, this is Jill Varvel with Dixiecast. I am here at Cafe Rue Orleans in Fayetteville, Arkansas. It's located on College Avenue right across from the VA hospital. I discovered this place in my travels. It's pretty rare, at least in my lifetime, to come across New Orleans style cooking. So it immediately piqued my interest, and I looked at the menu in advance and I saw all kinds of food entrees that I can remember eating growing up, so I was really excited to try it. So why don't you come inside with me and let's take a look. I arrived moments after the restaurant opened in the hopes of filming before the lunch crowd. I felt so fortunate to meet the owner, Maudie Schmitt, who was so gracious to grant me an interview. As you can see, the restaurant is well lighted with lots of New Orleans style decor, ranging from lampposts to Mardi Gras beads. A mirrored window frame from Maudie's family restaurant on Chapatula Street hangs in Cafe Rue Orleans to remind Maudie of her restaurant ancestry.
I'm Maudie Schmitt.
Hello,
I was
Maudie.
born and raised in New Orleans. We opened a restaurant in 2001, so we've been here for 21 years, and we've been in this same location. And I was a teacher. I was a special ed teacher for 25 years, and I retired in 2000 in Acadia Parish, Lafayette. So I have a good background with Creole food and Cajun food, and my mom and dad are from restaurant families in New Orleans. My brother still has his restaurant in New Orleans. He's been 35 years he's had his restaurant. So I come from food and I know food.
Well, what inspired you to open up a restaurant here in Fayetteville, Arkansas?
Well, 25 years ago, I read an article in a Smart Money magazine, and it said that the top 5 places to be in the United States in the next 30 years, Phoenix, Atlanta, and Northwest Arkansas. And so when I was thinking about retiring, I looked at it and decided, you know what, Fayetteville's not a bad choice with Walmart being here. And I graduated from Henderson in Arkadelphia. So I was a teacher. It was a teacher's college. I graduated, and so I knew the area, and it was kind of one of those things where, okay, let's look at it. So that's how that happened.
And what was the process like getting started opening a restaurant here? Was it easy to build your clientele?
Well, it took a few months. I retired in May of 2000, and my partner and I, Carla, we moved up in July, and it took us a good 5 months to figure out where we were going to open a restaurant. We knew we were going to open a restaurant. We had a business plan. That was the plan. We looked at Eureka for a minute. It was too touristy. We looked at Bentonville, but then it only had like 17,000 people in Bentonville 21 years ago. It just didn't seem like a good fit at that time. And I needed a turnkey. I needed a place where I could just basically come in and open the restaurant without a whole lot of money invested, and without a whole lot of equipment to be bought. And so this place presented that opportunity. And it was really interesting to open. I never run a restaurant. I was a teacher. I had a master's in special ed. My partner's LCSW, and she's a therapist. So she had never run a restaurant, and it was just like the hands of fate just sort of lifted us. And we opened up with a lot of fanfare because I was a New Orleans girl coming into Arkansas, opening a restaurant. And the newspaper on Friday, we opened on Wednesday, soft, and on Friday it came out in the newspaper, and there was a line down the street to get in, and it's been off and running ever since. That's all I can tell you. That's how it happened. The Fayetteville community is so warm and open and welcome. And I mean, it's really kind of nice. It's a community that helps each other out. And if if Mockingbird up the street, if Chef Chrissy's out of butter and she doesn't get any till next week, we'll lend her a few pounds of butter. And we're competing in a sense because we're both making a living opening a restaurant, but we help each other, and that's what it's all about.
Fabulous. And I saw that you have you locally sourced some of your food items. Are there any farmers that you're cooperating with in that regard, or?
Ozark All Seasons, we use all their lettuce.
Okay.
And so that's a really good thing. During farmers market, I'll go in on a Tuesday and Saturday and I pick up zucchini and squash and eggplant and tomatoes and things like that so that I can make my mumbo gumbo, which is just the soup of the day. And so those kind of things help out. Since we have several different farmers that will text me and say, hey, I got tons of mushrooms left over from farmers market, I'll sell them to you cheap. I'll buy them and then we turn that into a soup or we incorporate it in somewhere on our dish. So we're pretty good about that. And being part of community, you'll hear me say that word lots of times because it really does, it takes a community to support us, and we appreciate that.
Well, speaking of your fabulous menu, what are some favorite items or, good selling items that you feature here?
Our number one seller, day after day, month after month, is catfish chapatulas. Chapatulas is a street my mom grew up on in New Orleans, so to honor her, I named that dish after her. It's a catfish fillet. We butterfly it. We stuff it with our crab cake stuffing. We batter it and fry it, and then we top it with a seafood cream sauce that has shrimp in it, and it's our number one dish because if you get the perfect bite, you get a bite of catfish, a bite of crab meat, and a shrimp in that sauce. Crazy good. That's our number one dish. I'm real proud of our red beans and rice because New Orleans is famous for red beans and rice. And we make really good red beans and rice. Our po' boys are good. We use Gambino's French bread. And for us, the key for me is being from New Orleans, I use products that I grew up with. I use the same coffee that my mom and dad used, community coffee from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. We use community iced tea. I use Gambino's French bread. It's made in New Orleans. That's what makes our po' boys stand out from using Walmart's French bread or Atlanta Bread Company's French bread. We use New Orleans French bread made in New Orleans. It comes every Wednesday, and that keeps us honest.
Yeah.
We have a muffalata, just like you would get a muffalata in New Orleans. We use Gambino's muffalata bread, a little round bread with seeds on top. We use Boscoli olive salad made in New Orleans to put on top of that muffalata. The things that I use, I try to keep very consistent and very authentic. I would never use andouille from Oklahoma. I'm going to use andouille from New Orleans or South Louisiana or Lafayette. So those things keep me here for 21 years. It keeps my menu consistent and it keeps our customers coming back.
Well, as you've been describing these items, I see that our food is coming up.
Okay.
And I'm super excited to try it. Before we conclude the interview, is there anything else that you would like to mention about your business or maybe events that you do? I don't know if there's like any festivals or anything like that come up.
Okay. We're still part of that community. We participate in fundraisers, and the American Heart Association is kind of close to my heart. The Susan Komen Foundation, Breast Cancer Awareness and Research. And after 21 years, I picked those ones that mean something to me. And we are always about donating food. And during COVID, we had lots of people with food insecurities because they had lost their jobs and things like that. And we always made sure that we fed people. And that's kind of where we're at. We believe in giving back. Some exciting stuff that's getting ready to happen is in the next couple of weeks, this property has been sold. A new owner owns it. It's an architecture firm out of Little Rock, and they like a mixed-use urban redevelopment. And so we're part of the redevelopment. And what's going to happen is this building behind me is going to get demolished, and all the rooms on the backside are going to get demolished, and we're going to get a better parking lot. So they're going to make more parking for us. And I think in the future they have an idea that they would like to maybe put some apartments on the back part of the property, and I don't know how that looks going forward. This building right here with 8 apartment rooms is going to be an Airbnb, and that's going to be exciting, and maybe some green space in the middle. So we're going to look at, we have some changes coming up, and with change comes a little growing pain, right? And so we may have to work through the construction.
Sure.
We may have to only be able to come up on this side of the building for a few weeks maybe, but we're going to try and work through the construction phase, and we know that it's going to be bigger and better, and this property needs some love, and this company is going to do their very best to give us some TLC. It's needed, and kind of not rebrand us, but maybe change the paint, change the look of it.
Oh yeah.
And this motel has been here since the 1950s. And so it was called Vet's View because it's right across the street from the VA hospital.
Right.
And so during the Korean War, people came here they stayed in this motel and walked across the street to visit their relatives who were at the VA hospital. And we know this because people come in with stories. For 21 years, we've heard all kinds of stories. Everybody has a story about this Highway Inn property. So that's exciting. I'm cautiously optimistic that it's going to go well, because part of this whole renovation means changing electric poles, looking at water, and not disturbing what we really know is here.
Right.
So, but we're going to work through it, and we're not going anywhere. Cafe Rue Orleans will be here.
Yeah, right on. Well, you have wonderful food, and people remember
Yes.
that. And
Yes.
if they're anything like me, they're going to move through hell or high water to get to good food.
To come back.
Yeah,
That's right.
That's right.
That's what we're hoping for anyway.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much,
Absolutely.
Maudie.
My pleasure.
Great stories.
My pleasure.
And, appreciate the interview. And
Okay.
Yeah.
I look forward to listening.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
All right.
Thank
you.
Thank you again to Maudie Schmitt for generously giving me this interview. For more information, please visit caferueorleans.com. I'm Jill Varvel, and this is Dixiecast. Tune in next Friday for another heaping helping of Southern comfort for your ears.